Khamzat Chimaev versus Jingliang. Free fight, UFC 279. When two fighters enter the cage, they do not only bring themselves inside the cage, but they also bring the millions of hopes and prayers of their fans. These fans spend their valuable time and hard-earned money watching their fighters compete in the cage, and they want to see their favorite fighter succeed. And when it comes to Khamzat, prayers and hopes multiply to the point where they become twice as strong. So if you're an MMA fan, you would love to see Khamzat in the cage because his techniques are awesome and his presence of mind is mind-blowing. So MMA freaks, if you want to know more about the latest fight of Khamzat, you are at the correct place, MMA Guru TV, where we boost your MMA knowledge bank. So let's begin our video, but before that, make sure you please hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel. Jingliang believes Nate Diaz can find a miracle against Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 279. Fans of mixed martial arts probably don't need much of a reminder that anything can happen inside the Octagon, but Jingliang is here to give them one anyway. There's a new champion in the welterweight division of the UFC right now due to the fact that no underdog should ever be counted out. Therefore, Jingliang will not be engaging the same behavior toward Nate Diaz prior to UFC 279. I can't give you a number about the chance that Diaz will win, but we all know that Khamzat is the favorite based on the statistics and the data. On Monday's episode of the MMA Hour, Jingliang said, through a translator, that Nate is the underdog. However, I don't believe that Khamzat has ever competed in a fight that lasted a full 5 rounds.
我08年才开始练，那时候他已经是3大王，很厉害。
Another significant unknown is Nate Diaz. If you fight Nate Diaz, you don't know what will happen if the fight goes to the 5th round, and you don't know what will happen in the final minute and second of the fight. What we really need is a miracle, which will be a surprise in the fight. I believe that Nate Diaz is the guy that can give you this. Diaz came very close to pulling off a miracle in the 5th round of his fight against Leon Edwards at UFC 263, winning a moral victory by hurting the British welterweight late in the bout. After that, Edwards went on to score what is arguably the most impressive come-from-behind victory in the history of the UFC by knocking out Kamaru Usman with a head kick at UFC 278. I said to my boxing coach before that fight that I think Leon has a chance to knock out Kamaru Usman, and then what happens in the fight? Jingliang said, everyone's aware that Kamaru Usman's a very well-rounded fighter. However, I believe the majority of people underestimated how good Leon is at striking. As I've mentioned before, anything can happen at any given moment in the sport. It makes no difference if other people view you as the underdog in their eyes. You have no choice but to have faith in yourself and fight for the sake of your loved ones, regardless of who you face off against. If you're inside the Octagon, your chances of winning are equal. Because of this, Jingliang doesn't put much stock in the critics of his own matchup, which is a meeting with Tony Ferguson, a former interim lightweight title challenger, on short notice in the co-headliner of UFC 279. Many people are puzzled by Ferguson's recent record, which includes a 4-fight losing streak that was capped off by a brutal knockout defeat, as well as his move up to the welterweight division, which is an area where Jingliang has significant advantage in terms of experience. The Chinese fighter recently scored a decisive victory over Muslim Salikov and is not expecting to compete for his job or his career in this match. After suffering his 5th consecutive loss in the UFC, Ferguson's chances of making a comeback are slim. Therefore, it would appear that Jingliang has the upper hand in this contest. On the other hand, though, from his point of view, things are a little bit different when the punches are coming directly at you. Jingliang was quoted as saying, "I believe Tony knows what he's doing now. He's been working in this industry for a very considerable amount of time, and I believe that each fighter is only fighting for themselves and their families, and as a result, I do not believe that we should care what other people think about the outcome of this fight. Our job is to fight, and the matchmaker's job is to match fighters up who will give the fans a surprise, and your job as media is to let everybody know and watch this fight," he said. Our job's to fight. We're not just hyping it up. We want to let you fans know that it's going to be a very exciting fight, a very interesting fight you have to watch, and we're just not hyping it. The experience of bouncing back after suffering a crushing loss is something that Jingliang is very familiar with. Prior to his victory over Salikov, he had failed to capitalize on the most significant opportunity of his career, which was about against Chimaev at UFC 267. Despite the fact that the Chechen fighter put him to sleep in the very first round of their match, he never stopped believing in his own abilities. Salikov, in his current winning streak of 5 fights, were able to observe this phenomenon firsthand. "I have complete faith in myself," Jingliang stated. "Since the first day I competed in the UFC, I've entered every fight with the same level of self-assurance, no matter the outcome, even with regard to the fight with Khamzat. I'm aware that compared to me, he was the better guy on that particular night, but such is the nature of the game. We should gain wisdom from our mistakes and setbacks, but at the same time we should always trust and believe in, as well as have confidence in ourselves." It was not the first time when both these fighters were in front of each other. They shared the cage earlier, and the result was the same as now. After being lost in a previous fight, Leech Jingliang of the UFC stated, "I failed," and has admitted that Khamzat Chimaev did exactly what he wanted. Chimaev humiliated the Chinese veteran Li on the main card of UFC 267, which took place in Abu Dhabi. Jingliang had previously vowed to surprise the entire world. Borz, who upped his record at the time to 10-0, dominated the Leech on his way to a submission victory in the first round via rear naked choke, solidifying his position as the promotion's next rising superstar. As he lifted Jingliang, who fell to 18-7, carried him across the octagon like a child and put him to sleep, the Chechen-born Swede, who is 27 years old and originally from Chechnya, though raised in Sweden, did not take a single strike while doing so. Once again, I know that each of you watched the fight, and it came to an end in a flash. This week, Jingliang said in a video that was uploaded to his social media and translated by a user of YouTube named Scarlet Zing that he didn't really show off his skill set. "I must commend the performance of my rival. Again, I didn't fight according to my skill set, and that was because he did exactly what he wanted to do. We're about to compete in mixed martial arts. I believe that my response was a little too slow. I was not successful in completing the task. I didn't do my takedown defense well. I was eventually knocked to the ground and attacked while I was lying there. After that, my leg and then my back became entrapped. I did struggle. I'm not completely at peace with the situation because I intended to grab hold of his hands, but I was unsuccessful." The momentum that Jingliang had gained from knocking out Santiago Ponzinibbio in January was stymied by Chimaev's victory, which made it 4 wins in a row for him in the UFC. Chimaev is likely to make a leap into the top 10 of the welterweight rankings as a result. "We're holding a competition here. Wins and losses are a natural part of the competition," he went on to say. "I'm going to grow as a result of this experience. More ground training, which is extremely important, is coming up for me. And I'll keep training. There'll be competition in this. Whoever's more capable of seizing the opportunity when it presents itself will win. It's very similar to boxing. It's important to strike first in order to gain the initiative. Find out who is the most agile, consistent, and precise competitor. I'll work hard, and the prospect of failing does not frighten me. I'm going to put this behind me and move on." And that brings us to the end of today's video. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed our video, and if you did, please make sure you share it with all of your friends in the MMA community, and make sure you like that video too. Make sure you also subscribe to our channel where you'll get more amazing content. And if I could ask one more favor of you, I'll remind you, please, on your way out the door, press that bell icon. That's what allows you to stay updated with us and get notified whenever we have new updates for you and our new uploads here on our channel. We sincerely appreciate you spending time out of your busy day to hang out with us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Hey, have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.